A very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Food and Drink Studio here at Fortnum Mason. I'm Johnny Bunyan, exec producer of Chase Communications. Thrilled to be with you here and taking you through our second Q&A session of the day. Lovely to join everybody on YouTube watching at home. Thank you very much for joining us here. And obviously great to still have our fantastic competitors and judges with us in the room. So without further ado, let's introduce our panel looking in the direction of Leadership Unplugged. First of all, please welcome Simon King, Managing Director of Fat Duck. Simon, up you come. Thank you very much indeed. Closely followed by Anna Sebastian, who is fabulous from the Anna Sebastian Hospitality. Up you come. Thank you very much indeed. Closely followed by Mario Pereira. Mario Pereira, thank you very much indeed, from the Dorchester, exec chef. And Robert Walton, our Governor-in-Chief, founder of Young Chef, Young Waiter. And we're going to give that to yourself. There we are. Thank you very much indeed. You're going to be showing that microphone. There we are. Lovely. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here this afternoon. Now, this panel focuses on looking ultimately at leadership as a whole. And just before we do get into it, I just want to do a little bit of an introduction to our panelists. For those of you who may not know, Simon King, former operations director at the world-renowned Fat Duck. Simon is celebrated for his expertise in the fine dining operations sector and the guest experience, now advising hospitality businesses on achieving excellence. Anna Sebastian, founder of Anna Sebastian Hospitality and one of the UK's most respected bar and hospitality consultants. Anna has worked with some of London's most iconic venues and is a leading voice for positive change in the industry. We have, as I say, Mario Pereira, executive chef and director of food and beverage at the Dorchester. Mario brings decades of five-star luxury experience overseeing some of the most prestigious dining and bar operations in the world. And of course, Robert Walton, MBE, chairman of the World Chef Young Waiter competition and a long-standing ambassador for British hospitality. Robert is a celebrated entrepreneur and mentor and widely recognised for his role in championing the next generation of talent. So a round of applause for our panellists, please. Thank you. Absolute pleasure to be here. Now, just to let everybody know, we are going to be asking you to come up with some questions for our panellists. So have a think as we're going to go out to you in about 15 minutes or so. But let's start off with just understanding a bit about your background. Simon, if I can start with you. You've obviously all of us on the panel here reached impressive leadership positions in hospitality. What would you say has been the defining thread of your journey so far?
When I reflect on the years I've worked in our trade, and from the first day I was a kitchen porter and as a teenager, the element of how I felt to be part of a team, the feeling of that unity was the thread that's kept me going. That's what I didn't want to let my team down, or whether I want to lead it or to be led by individuals at an early part of my career. It's that team element, I think, hospitality is a team sport, in my opinion. And if you find yourself with the right team, if you feel part of a team, you have responsibilities and you have rewards that collectively is second to none. So I think that, for me, is the thread that really holds me together.
Fantastic. Anna, you mentioned earlier on that you are a London girl through and through, started out at a very young age, and you are where you are now. For all of us here listening and watching, tell us a bit about your journey, and in a nutshell, what's been the thing that's kind of kept you moving forward all of these years?
Of course. I started off as a host at the Savoy. I used to kind of work in nightclubs, and this was the moment that I guess changed everything. I very much worked my way up from the bottom. I've had no sort of qualifications or sort of any sort of formal training. But through that, and for me it was really important, and I didn't really realise it at the time, was what my purpose was. And my purpose was something really simple, and that was just I wanted to help people, whether they were coming in to celebrate a birthday or an anniversary or the small moments of life or the big moments. And that has been my thread. And I always, whenever I'm not sure about something, I'm always like, does this fit with my purpose? And I think that's kind of kept me going. And, I was being really lucky. I worked 12 years in hotels, and when the time was right and when I stopped learning and I was like, time to move on, I was able to sit down and create my dream job, which I feel so incredibly lucky to do. And I think it just, whatever you want to do, I think this industry gives you the platform to do that, and the creativity and the freedom.
Well, that's a fantastic answer, and I think that's all indicative of everybody on this panel who've
Yeah.
really gone out and made something for themselves. Mario,
Yeah.
Daisy, our gorgeous Daisy Feely over there, she whispered in my ear that she said you've got a phenomenal story to tell about where you come from to where you are now. So just enlighten the group. I'm just going to go over here because your mic's slightly out of the way.
Yeah.
There we go, because I know Callum will get annoyed about otherwise. So would you mind giving us a
Yeah.
little bit of potted history of the wonderful Mario Ferrara?
Yeah, it's a lovely journey. As a child, I was born in Sri Lanka, and I think about 8 years old, I always wanted to be a chef. And told my parents, he said, yeah, no problem, get on with it, but make sure you do your GCSEs, then after that you can do whatever you want to do. I was lucky, I just finished my GCSE, came home, I said, that's the last day, I'm going to school, I want to start cooking. But during that time, I always want to try things at home. You know, I have 3 siblings. When you have pocket money, they used to buy things, new things, new gadgets, toys. I always go and buy ingredients so I can cook certain things. So that was kind of the start. Then I was lucky because I was underage. I could not get into hospitality because they will not employ. But managed to get to Taj, just do kind of a apprenticeship program. But they said they will not pay you, but you can come and work. During working there, I had the opportunity to come to England within my first year, come and do a promotion. And during this time, I had this little magazine called Caterers. My parents, they used to travel up because I have family who used to live here. And my parents bought me this magazine called Caterers. And the back of this magazine, there was the ad was called Dorchester, place to be and work for. And I told parents, this is where I want to do work one day. And so when I came to England to do the promotion, Caterers, they came and did an article about the whole promotion. And then they saw this youngster, I was just 16, maybe probably plus, and they asked me, what do you want to do? I said, look here, I want to come to England, do my studies, and work at the Rochester. It's like, wow, that's the right place. So straight after, like 2 days after, I get this email coming from them, this is the place for you to apply for your hospitality, for your studies, and these are the contact details for the chef. I did the promotion, went back, I applied for the university. I started my education at Thames Valley University with David Foskett. I don't know, a lot of people probably know who wrote Practical Cookery. And I started there, and very first week I said, I want to work at the Rochester. And he said, yeah, I know the chef very well. This is the number, give him a call. So I gave him a call. He said, yeah, chef, pick up the phone. He said, come for a chat. And I went for a chat. Then he showed me around. And it was a big property. Never expected, this youngster coming from that part of the world want to work here. And he said, what do you think? I said, I want a job. He said, I'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So I started my very first job, from college as a little commie. I started third commie. I worked for the company almost 15 years. So I run different outlets, different levels, everything. And after 15 years, during my journey, must have done everything as a chef. You work with some great suppliers, great ingredients, great chefs, and you cook for the best. And from Her Majesty to all the diplomatics to the whole lot, I've done it. And that was an amazing journey. I thought, okay, after 15 years, I need to move on. One day I was at service, I was at the pass, I get a call from Four Seasons Park Lane. FM director said, look here, we are looking for somebody like you. What do you think, can we have a chat? I said, yeah, why not? Let's have a chat. Next day, I just quickly dropped by next door. Since I left, I took the right and just went and had a chat. They were building the property. It was an opening team. And they said, we want you. I said, yeah, I'll take the job. And but he said, we'll come back to you. But I couldn't even come back to the property. I get a call from the FM director, Mario, you have the job. Are you happy to take it? I said, yes, I will take it. And I came and told the chef, this is, I was just given the job, I'm going to take it. And he said, no, you're not going to leave here. But I said, no, I want to leave because it's important for me to get out and see what's happening outside. And so I left the company. I was with Four Seasons Park Lane, did the opening team almost 7 years. Great experience, very different, very corporate. When you're born to a luxury property for 15 years, when you want to adapt to a different culture, that's where, I think hospitality is everything. End of the day, you learn a lot of things. Your flexibility, as long as you have the passion, you get the best out of you. Then I learned. Then I thought maybe I need to change. This is not me. I want to work for that luxury property where I could do something apart from being more corporate. And always I had the contact, the relationship with the Dorchester chef. Said, no, you're not going anywhere, you come back to me. So I left there, joined the company. I've been with the company for almost 8 years now, my return. 5 years ago, my chef who was my mentor, who I worked for many years, he left. There was a bit of a transition period there. Then all of a sudden management called me and said, Mario, this is your baby, you're the executive chef. I mean, as a child, you come from a country where, hospitality is very, very big. But I always think, you work hard, be humble, put your head down, get on with it. Always dreams come true. But this is not the end. End of the day, the journey is there. The sky is the limit when it comes to cooking and, working in that type of luxury property. Yes, I've been on the property for 8 years since my return. And every day you learn, you do new things, new projects, and you get to work with great people. A lot of changes, you embrace everything. And I think that's my little journey, and there I am. This is what I do. And I always think, cooking is something, as long as you have the passion, even if you give a glass of water to somebody, give it your full heart. I mean, that water glass can be the best water you could ever have. So that's me.
Fantastic. Mario, that was great. That was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Robert, if I can come to you, I mean, hospitality really is a bit of an endurance sport. And if anyone's endured it, it's yourself. You've been in this business a very long time. How do you personally keep your drive and resilience over the years? And kind of what words of advice would you have for our young competitors here in terms of the ability to keep going and keep the longevity? Because you're a legend in this industry.
So I want that.
If I could just, what you got that way? Yeah, swap it over.
I want this.
Right up.
I want the branding.
That's fine. Keep it close.
That's
there,
the first thing we want to do. Lots of branding.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I've been going a long time in this industry, in this sector, and I love it. I mean, you see any post that I do, I love it. I didn't get the job when I applied to the Dorchester when I was 16. I was
the lucky one then.
I didn't get the job. You don't know that. And I trained in London, and then I went to college at Ealing, which was fantastic. I love that. Which is now the University of West London, by the way, for those of you who are nowhere near old enough, it was called Ealing. And I think, I found the love for cooking. I found the love for my world, which is to be a chef, and I so enjoyed it. Learned, and I had no experience about cooking when I was growing up, and I bought my first restaurant when I was 24. And when you're 24 and you open your restaurant on your own, I had a partner, but I was self-employed, and at that age, overcome hurdles. And what I learned, which is not always a great thing to do, but I learned how to cook for money. I know that sounds really awful, but what I learned how to make profit in food and how to learn, because when you go to university or when you go to colleges or when you go to wherever you're not always taught. You're taught to cook. You're not taught actually how to run a page. It worked, and I did well, and then I just moved on and I bought places really early in my life. So the endurance part sort of happened early. So hurdles and issues and everything that one gets when you're not only just cooking or serving or running bars or whatever it is you're running in the hospitality sector, you have to overcome problems, because that's what life is all about. If you can overcome those problems, then you're going to have endurance. And those problems today, in a speech I'm going to do tomorrow, the issues that we have, or the world we lead today, started. My first restaurant was in 1980, so that's a long time ago. And when you think of where we are today, mobility and health and safety and energy issues and social media, every dish you send out, somebody's going to take. I was at your place, somebody's going to take what you're serving. So the pressure on you all is immense today, but it's on all of us. I hope will be on social media. That's what we're doing. But for me, I think the endurance is one thing. The second thing is to see you all coming into this sector. We're in the world, all of the other problem with. It's not turning people off, and I think that is of what I do today. What I do today, and this is my big focus, is to grow and love sex as Mario does, as Anna does, is a real passion, and you can tell a restaurant. I always say, doesn't matter what you go into. Anyway, and it's all about soul. It doesn't matter. You could be on a beach somewhere, and there could be two people. That restaurant has got soul, and it could be dish, or it could be going to his room in the kitchen. It's amazing, and it's like mind-blowing experience. So I think that all of these things in just keep rolling, and I'm not on the beach the other day saying I've been doing it and my job has begun. So I've got lots to do yet.
Fantastic. Simon, you want to come on that?
I just want to interject. It's two. One was earlier about what we would tell former self differently, and the other thing I want to say to you, work smart, not just hard. Was I was always you've got to work harder. That's realistic, and you wouldn't be able to do it for a long period of time. Our challenges for our industry is reflected on our efficiency. So if you're efficient at what you do, or how you run, how you perform, you're efficient with your energy levels, if you deliver when you really need to deliver, you'll be far more successful, and you'll be far more, and you'll be future-proofing your own businesses. Because if we are efficient as an industry, we've got a prosperous future. If we're not efficient in that manner, and we're wasteful, whether it's to do with product or whether to do with personnel or our time, we're going to really make it difficult. So that's what I wanted to get across. But yeah,
it's a really great point.
Yeah, great point. Yeah.
This session is focusing a lot on leadership and inspiring leaders, and the idea that actually all of you sitting here today could quite easily go on and become leaders in your industry. Either one of you, let's maybe go to Simon. Roles. What traits and habits should they focus on developing now at this stage, do you think?
Well, you're already leaders. And actually, when you ask about what impacted me in my career, 25 years ago, I was where you were.
Yes.
And I was working in the Ritz Hotel as a waiter, as a head waiter, and I took part in this competition in Ealing College.
Yes.
That's where the semi-finals were. And I was lucky enough to win the competition. And then I met a guy, heard of him, Gordon Ramsay. You may have heard of that. I met Gordon Ramsay in 2000, worked for him for half a decade. And that was career training. Competition helped shape my trajectory in my career. So what's happening right now has the potential. I mean, you all have the potential of doing it anyway, but this competition could transport you into doing that. And as it goes to leadership, I think young people need to have trust with their leaders, need to feel respected, need to be listened to. You need an integrity. So if you have integrity of what you do and how you work, then that will reflect of how you lead. And if you lead like that, you'll be followed. And if you're followed, you'll be successful. So it's all to do with integrity. Ownership of all your decisions. Often it's only a handful of decisions you actually get judged on. But yeah, that for me, integrity, if you can hang on to that, lead with that, you go a long, long way.
Thank you. And any advice, any kind of wisdom you could pass on that will help them outlast their career? I mean, things that they're going to take with them on this journey.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think, firstly, I'd say it's okay to not know what you want always. I think sometimes we all struggle, sometimes go, well, what is it that I want to do? And maybe the answer, you're not always going to get that straight away. I will say a couple of things. Like, understand, in order to have impact, you need to understand what people value. Really get to know what people value, whether it's your guests, whether it's managers, your stakeholders, whether it's this competition. I think that's something that kind of really changed my career sort of in lockdown sort of time. I'd say in terms of sort of leadership as well, I say for me, I was just like, I want to work for the best, whether that's the best people, the best place. I think the power of working for these types of places and these types of people, it's going to carry you through your entire career. Like, as an example, I wouldn't be where I was at all if I hadn't worked for the Savoy. It wasn't always perfect. I wasn't always perfect, but I still have people that I come across in this life now that were like, you served me, you did this for my wife, you did whatever it is. But really make sure you're working with people that align with your purpose, your belief, whether you know, like I said, that my purpose was to help people. I didn't know how I wanted to help people. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. So I worked with people that were aligned with that mission. And finally, I would say, your connections, build those connections. Your network can easily become your net worth. And I think really build those meaningful relationships, whether it's mentorship. Mentorship doesn't have to be this whole big thing. It can be a simple conversation, but just really take that time to connect with people, up, engage with those people around you as well. Because when I meet people now, sometimes I'm like, this person would be perfect. And then in 6 months' time, in a year's time, I'm calling them. I'm like, hey, listen, I need you for this. So even if nothing happens straight away, and we live in a very impatient world, and I get this, you just never know that person may remember you and be like, I want you on board my team. And then I think, just the people that I work with now, and I built a team of, there's 6 of us in the last year that I built. The people that I have on my team now and our team are the people that I would go battle with. So choose that trust over anything else. And I think then, going back to leadership, the people, there's this chart, you could look it up. It's high performance. If anyone watches like Simon Sinek, and he talks about, choose people that you trust over their performance. Performance can always grow, but those people that you trust are going to be your biggest supporters. That's
Fantastic.
It. Sorry.
No, that's good. That's great advice. Before we're in a moment, we're heading to the Q&A with everybody, so stand by with your questions. But Mary, just briefly, if you can.
Yeah.
Obviously, all too well the pressures of being in the kitchen and the pressures of getting things done, certainly on deadline. Tomorrow, we all are sitting here now very relaxed, but tomorrow is D-Day. It is the day where everybody is going to be down and getting into this competition. What advice do you have at this stage? What can they be thinking about tonight? What can they be ready for tomorrow to get their first foot forward, would you say?
I think for me, it's just a very, first thing you need to relax. I do understand you're all a little bit of tense and whatever, but having those ingredients, respect the ingredients. Wastages should be 0. Your bin should be empty. And make sure you plan yourself, make sure you have a rough idea about how you're going to execute. Time management is very important, and taste your food. One of the key things we always see, people don't taste their food because they are rushing things. Tasting is very important. Simply cooking, have a little bit of technique, and you enjoy, and you're all winners in the end. Yeah.
And Bob, finally, for the waiters and the mixologists, any kind of words of wisdom? I mean, you obviously know this competition well. How will they be feeling at this stage for tomorrow?
Well, I think they look...
Sorry, microphone.
No, sorry.
Yeah, but also people at home need to hear you, don't worry.
Everyone looks pretty calm to me, actually. I'm always impressed how relaxed everyone seems to be, certainly from where I'm seeing. Anna said a really great thing about the connections, and this competition is incredible. Not only do you have connections in this country, you've got connections all around the world. So everything we do here, we do in 12 different countries around the world. So the connections will be carried through, and the class of 25, you'll have incredible, you'll build friendships and you'll build relationships, and that's fantastic. And there's so many things. This sector, this hospitality sector that we're in, offers so many opportunities to you as you go forward. And I think that's really important. As to how you're feeling, well, I mean, it's just, it is what it is. It's a competition. I was listening to Simon and Mario and Anna about their journeys, and their journeys have been in big establishments. I was very individual in my route, and I've been a very individual person, and so I have been very competitive personally in business and in my world, of this hospitality world. So it's really about, look, it is a competition. That's the first thing. But you are all winners. You're here at the finals. All the applications were done. And so you've got many, many opportunities. And as Simon said, he won he won. But my other dear friend is over there at the Ritz, who's number 2 at the Ritz, Simon Girling, who didn't win. And so it's not about winning. It's not about. And we tell Simon many times about that. And Adam Handling, who is an amazing chef at the Frog, he was one of our chefs. He didn't even come in the top 3. You know, in those days there were 12 chefs in the final. 3 years on. So, and now he's a Michelin star chef. So, and I could reel off, you know, chefs that you will know, and waiters and mixologists that you'll know that have entered and have done amazing things. I think this is just a brilliant platform for you. And thanks to Johnny and Alex and Daisy and everyone to put, we're sort of another level again this year. So
it's fabulous. Right, time now. If I can have that microphone,
Yep.
Bob, for a second, because Daisy, if you'd like to, or is Alex doing it? Thank you, Alex. It's time now to hand over to the audience here, you competitors, judges alike. Any questions for this fantastic panel? Let us know over there. We've got one right here. Alex, over to you. What's your name and tell us which category you're competing in?
I'm Eleanor, I'm doing the waiter category.
Can't hear you, a bit louder.
I'm Eleanor and I'm from the waiter category.
Thank you very much.
It's a question for anybody and all of you really. We're creating memories every day. What's your most memorable service experience and why?
So most memorable serving experience and why.
Let me go first.
We're going to have to give you a microphone.
And
Hang
the
on.
trouble is, I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, don't worry.
You won't remember, but because I'm old, there was a lady once called Fanny Craddock. Has anyone ever heard of Fanny Craddock? Nobody, or some of you have. Anyway, she was the very first. No. You have, Alex. You've heard. Anyway, she was the first chef on television. If you ever watch, you need to go and look now at this lady. But at the time, she was like, I mean, if Fanny Craddock was cooking, then you were looking at the TV. She had a little 4-burner hob. Do you remember? No, you don't even know. You don't even know. Anyway, she came into my restaurant and she was absolutely like frightening. She was frightening. This was like the critic. This was Gordon Ramsay. This was everyone coming into my restaurant in 1981. And she arrived in my restaurant, and she had a dog. She had Johnny. Anyway, and she wrote books on traveling to France, and she would come. She arrived in a riding hat with a veil and a big suede skirt. I mean, it was a frightening experience. But we wooed her, and we did it. And there were like challenges that we had. I remember having Tom Jones in my restaurant. I remember having all these sort of people coming to the restaurant, and you would think, wow, you know, we've achieved these incredible occasions where these people have walked out of my little restaurant and me cooking at 25 years old, and they've loved it. And that buoyed
you up to more.
Yeah, I mean, and there are those other things. And then I remember years ago when I became part of the Restaurant Association, I decided to do a summer ball at a hotel. I was about 38, 39, and I invited Albert Roux, Michel Roux Jr., I invited John Burton Race, I invited Raymond Blanc, I invited Richard Shepard, I invited Brian Turner, I invited all these crazy people. And I thought, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? You know, I'm doing it. They're coming all out to Berkshire. And it was fantastic, you know, because everyone, that was really, really good. So you just challenge yourself. They were. I mean, I could go on because
well, we're going to some more few more questions if we may. So, who else would like to ask a question? We've got over there. Yes, sir. Thank you. What's your name and which one are you competing in?
My name is Roger Sargent.
Just, gentlemen, sorry, just be careful blocking the cameras here. Sorry. Thank you. Just for YouTube. Yeah, go for it.
My name is Roger Sargent, competing as a chef. I just has a question for Simon. What's one piece of advice you would have for any competitor tomorrow?
One piece of advice I would say is it's not what you do or why you do it, it's how you react to certain circumstances. So we were talking about mistakes earlier and making mistakes or challenges that come your way. Challenge is an opportunity. A mistake is an opportunity. How you react when it really matters, keeping that calm, composure, but see it as an opportunity. See every negative as a positive. It makes it much easier to deal with. So yeah, it's those opportunities make the most.
I'm going to do one more brief final question. One more. This is your last opportunity before tomorrow to get any more for any more. Come on, we've got to have some of here. Yes, yeah. Gentleman here. Nice and loud. What's your name? Which way are you
Christian
competing?
in the waiter category. Obviously, you will have a wealth of experience in the industry, but there is also lots of turnover with staff. How have you found is the most effective way to get people to want to stay and want to work for you?
Good question. Who would like to take that? Anna?
I can do.
Yeah,
a little
absolutely.
bit.
Yeah.
I think you need to have trust in those people. What I mentioned earlier, you need to give them that empowerment to learn, to fix the mistakes on their own as well. But also, you need to be there to guide them throughout. You need to be there next to them, alongside them, and help grow them as well. And I think asking them for feedback is really important. Asking them when things go wrong, well, what can I do better? You know, as a leader, what can I do better? This was a big turning point in my career, and it changed everything. It changes the dynamic of the team. So I think that sort of trust, I think that openness, I think from day one, that needs to be on the table, and you need to create that safe space and environment for people to come to you with whatever that challenge is, or that issue, or the good things as well, and really, really have that open dialogue as well.
I'm going to be very, very quick. I'll just add one couple more things. A lot of the time, especially in the higher end, you focus on what's not done right, what areas to improve, but you neglect the 99% that is done right. And people feel that, especially when you're young and you're coming into it. So acknowledging when things are done right, even if it may seem like being up on time and looking at acknowledging it and reinforcing it in that way, I think is essential. And that's more of a positive outlet. But people need to feel rewarded, they need to feel appreciated and respected.
Well, listen, absolutely gold nuggets of advice and love and support. We wish you all well for tomorrow, but a huge thank you once again, Simon King, Managing Director of Fat Duck, Anna Sebastian, and founder of Anna Sebastian Hospitality, Mary Pereira, Exec Chef at the Dorchester, and our Governor-in-Chief, Robert Walton, from the MBE, the Chairman of Young Chef, Young Waiter. Give them all a round of applause. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Now, I'm going to slide this chair away. People on YouTube still watching us, thank you very much still for joining us. Alex Rayner back in, because it's time for the end of today's session. We're going to keep you live on YouTube, Alex, and we're going to go to Instagram at any moment. So stand by. We're going to just bring Alex Rayner back in, everybody. Alex Rayner.
Do bear with us. We're just going to reset the stage and get some notes together, and we'll be with you shortly. Moment. Can I have these rolled out, please?
Yep. I'm not sure. Don't know that.
Do you know it's hot out there? Huh? Do you know it's hot out there? Yeah, it's warm outside. No, I don't get in like this morning. No, I don't want to pick it up again. It's all right. How you good? Good. I'm getting back to work. Yeah, going back to work now. What day off you on?
Still on YouTube, yes. That camera, all of this area, you can't stand with it. So for those watching still on YouTube, Young Chef, Young Waiter, any moment now, we're going to go to our final presentation. Yeah.
Johnny.
Yep. We're still live.
Focus on the room, I said.
It's been Instagram. But this could still be live, so that's why you just need to keep going. That's what you asked me.
Thank you, everybody. So here we are. It's got to that time of the afternoon where you and we are going to discover what teams you're all in and who you've been paired with for the 2025 England Young Chef, Young Waiter, Young Mixologist Awards. So without further ado, I'm going to call you up in your teams to come and receive your fantastic uniforms from Daisy, the operations director, and Andy Downton, one of our consultant judges here today. And after that, I'd like you to hang with your teams, please, because Daisy is going to be handing out the tasks for tomorrow's championship. So, without further ado, representing Team 1, in the mixologist category, please, could I have, join me, Yelena Buletskova from Sexy Fish. Come on up, Yelena. Yelena, you're going to take a stand over there. Why don't you go there? And supporting her as her front of house, could I please have Jessica Hornsby from Coworth Park? The other way around. So that would be Eleanor Colan from Northcote, please. Come on up, Eleanor. And finally, bringing his A game to the grill, could I please have, from Pavilion, just a stone's throw from us here at Fortnum Mason, Mr. Roger Sargent. So there we have it, team number 1, as chef Roger Sargent from Pavilion. Bringing it up at front of house, Eleanor Colan from Northcote. And finally, Yelena Buletskova from Sexy Fish. That is your team number 1. So moving on to team number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off in the mixologist category, Madison Moore from Rockwater. Where are you? Madison, come on up. Secondly, front of house waiter category for team number 2, Harry Williams, also from Northcote. Two competitors in from Northcote. And finally, putting some fantastic food on plates, could I please have Ben Mabley from Hartwell House Hotel and Spa as the chef for team 2. Come on in, Ben. Right, the next 2 teams, team 3 and 4, we're going to stand you off this side. But kicking off in the mixologist category for team number 3, Rizwan Khan from Junsei. Come on up, Rizwan. Looking very smart. Supporting him as his front of house, Christian Nutt from Woven by Adam Smith. Christian, where are you? And finally, putting some fantastic grub on a plate, Clin Din 2 for team number 3 in the chef category. Come and join your teammates. So Clin, Christian and Rizwan make up team number 3. And finally, last but definitely not least, Emilia Luskovice from One Hotel Mayfair. Come and join us in mixologists for team 4. Jessica Hornsby brings her front of house A game, her waitressing skills from Coworth Park as the waitress for team 4. And finally, you've heard him mention before, Callum with 2 L's, Callum Davidson from Harrods in the chef category. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, your 4 teams for the 2025 regional final here at Fortnum Mason. And tomorrow we'll be moving to the Alba restaurant in Knightsbridge. But before we do, they need to know what tasks they have. Daisy Feely, can I hand over to you, please?
I have got one purpose here and one purpose alone, and that is to hand you your pantry and wine list ahead of tomorrow. So after this, once we have finished at 3:30, or probably a bit later now, You all need to go off into your teams and really look at these pantry lists, really recite them, have a look and discuss with your chefs what they're planning to prepare for their menus tomorrow, understand where wastage is going to be produced. Mixologists, really be speaking to your chef, waiters as well, understand the menu concept, your mise en place, and I will hand them out now. Right.
So pantry lists, this is the produce coming in from Art Farm. Fantastic field to fork concept. So out go the pantry lists to each of the chefs. Hopefully we can have a quick squiz. Broken down into fresh, pantry, dairy and protein.
Callum, thank you. Welcome.
Callum, anything on there that stands out instantly? My God, there's a load of stuff on here. I have no idea what that is. Luckily, you've got some cider vinegar there, Callum. I mean, a vital ingredient there. Clint, first impressions on your pantry list?
Sounds good. Looks good, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So, Daisy, you've handed out the pantry list. Where are our wine lists? Yep, the cellar is in there. Chef, can you share the cellar list, please, with your mixologists and your waitressing team? Chefs, have you shared those lists? Okay. Let's have a quick look together. It's quite brief, isn't it, Eleanor?
Yeah.
Initial thoughts?
All right. Quite happy.
Okay. All right. Personally, I'd be thinking I'd like more on that myself.
There's a reason why they're brief. You will have a masterclass tomorrow on the wines. We don't want you understanding really until you go into that session. Obviously, you have time now at the moment to have a look behind the glass, but obviously you're not going to know until tomorrow, until you know your chef's menu. So they are brief for a reason. Also, I do have bar lists for the mixologists, but we are not giving them out till tomorrow because you have a mystery brief and we are not unveiling that until tomorrow.
Right, fantastic. Look, mystery brief. I think that is probably where to close it. So to all of you, particularly to Team 1, Team 2, and of course 3 and 4, the very, very best of luck to you. We'll be live back here on the YouTube and Instagram channels tomorrow. But for me, the pride in hosting you today as the next generation of hospitality leaders is unsurmountable. I wish you the very best in tomorrow's competition. We see each other again, 8 a.m. at Alba sharp. And I've seen the schedule, and boy, we're going to be busy. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to our partners, to our amazing judges. I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow on Competition Day at the Young Chef, Young Waiter, Young Mixologist 2025 Regional Heat. Thank you, everyone.
Big applause!